Chiefs lead from start to finish. It's hard to assess a team and whether this bad, but what were your thoughts on the offense for the Chiefs at least?
For the Chiefs, I thought they did everything they needed to do. I mean, Pacheco ran angry, ran in between the tackles. They had a lot of big plays. You got to love that. And also, we all thought throwing the ball would be tough, and it was for the Dolphins. It was not for the Chiefs. I think this is the best that they've looked offensively. They still had a few penalties, Yeah. They still had a few drops, but it was Kelsey. It wasn't the receiving corps, which has let them down all year. And all of a sudden, you're starting to see, and it's crazy to think about, and Miami has some big injury problems on defense, but you're starting to see what this team could be. If they can really string this into being more consistent, now all of a sudden they could make a deep run. The big cause of concern was red zone. They had to settle for a lot of field goals, but generally third down and red zone, that's what comes last. When you have a team that lacks details, those are the two toughest areas. But what I loved the most about their passing game was, you've been watching it, the ball was coming out on time. Even earlier in the year when Mahomes had big games, a lot of it was, okay, I got to scramble, I got to be a hero, I got to, make crazy plays, where a lot of the throws to Rashee Rice were on time and exactly where the route wants to be. They're on the same page. And I still thought, like I said, he had a couple of McCole Hardman, Kelsey had a drop, or a few drops.
Yep.
This offense left some on the table and played extremely well.
You talked about Rashee Rice. He's just getting better every game, and he's standing by with Kaylee Hartung and Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick, you have held one of those before. Rashee, you have not. Congratulations, guys. Patrick, you came into this game extremely confident that your team could find another gear in the postseason. What did this team do to prove you right?
Yeah, guys came with that attitude, that mentality. We knew it was going to be cold, but all week we were preaching, let's come in there with that fire and just get after it and see what happens. And the young buck made a few plays for us.
What was the most difficult part of playing in these conditions?
Kind of is what it is, man. We're in Kansas City at Arrowhead. We're going to play in some games like this. So our mentality was to come out here and just play football and see what happens.
What happened with your helmet? You seemed very unhappy with the situation.
I was very unhappy because my helmet's warm and it cracked because it's so cold out here, and I was trying to run at the goal line. And then I put the other helmet on and it did not fit at all. It had been just sitting in the cold all day long. So I was a little upset about that, but we got it fixed up and we got to go.
You've also talked a lot about the trust that you have had in your offense all season long, even when things weren't going your way. What did Rashee do to earn your trust?
Yeah, you continue to work every single day. A lot of young players, man, they want to take it off. I mean, they have long seasons compared to what they did in college, but he continued to work every single day to get better. He asked the right questions, and he went to school in Texas. He went to high school in Texas. I knew he was going to be a dog.
Rashee, you had the most receiving yards, get this, by a Chiefs rookie in postseason history. What enabled you to do that tonight in these conditions?
I mean, obviously just knowing that I got the guys around me that prepared as hard as I did throughout the week, and then just knowing those guys are, being able to come out here and continue the journey. Weren't too much worried about the weather, and we know we love the game, we love to win, so that's what we came here to do.
You went limping off the field a little bit late in the game, but you came back and made some big plays. What happened there?
Just a little tweak in my ankle. Sideline a little hard from the ice on the field, but it's all good. We came back.
Now, Patrick, you could be playing your first road playoff game of your career, other than a Super Bowl, obviously. What appreciation do you have for the fans here at Arrowhead? This game is going down as the fourth coldest game in the history of the NFL, and the atmosphere here was something.
Yeah, that's the Chiefs Kingdom. I mean, it's -30, whatever it is out here, and there's not an empty seat in the stands. People are staying after right now. That's just the Arrowhead experience. That's Chiefs Kingdom. And I'm glad we got to get the win for them and didn't make them come out here for no reason.
And make a playoff debut for this guy. Thank you both. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
I give them both credit. Neither of them wanted to be there.
Absolutely not. She had the big jacket on. He's like, hey, you just broke a Chiefs record. Don't care.
Let's wrap this up. I need to go get some of that chicken broth that Jason Garrett was talking about. So the Dolphins, let's talk quickly about them. Great offense this year. Held to just 7 points in this one. I talked about the weather and how that might be a factor, but were you surprised they didn't have a better game?
No, not at all. And you look at this Dolphins team and how this offense in particular, they're built on speed. Even their run game, yes, they have great run numbers, but they're not an in-between-the-tackles run team. And they have a if you watch this, you see Tua do this a lot. He reverse opens to a pitch. And when the field is icy, what happens is you can't it eliminates some of that speed because you can't cut as clean. So again, here's another one. Reverse open to a pitch, and they're getting nothing. And you saw what they tried to do instead was, okay, we're just going to start throwing screens outside. We are an offense built on speed. Tyreek, Jalen, or Waddle, you got Mostert, Achane. We want to get these guys space. We don't want to confine them in the tackles. And all of a sudden, the field is so icy, it takes that speed away, and they kept trying to force it. Hey, we're going to try and get outside. Couldn't do it, and then you saw late there the bad sack. All of a sudden, this becomes a pocket passing team, and that is not their offense. Although Tua has great throwing numbers, he is not a let's sit back here and throw the ball 50 times a game without some sort of play action or a little bit of fluidity with regards to those other guys.
You mentioned the numbers. I want to take a look at the numbers for Tua and Mahomes in this one.
Take care. Next time, you better be here. Don't be soft.
I like that. Farhan's bringing some heat tonight.
I'm the softest you'll ever find. I'm the softest you'll ever find. Even though I did grow up on the prairies, I've become super soft. I want to talk about Tua. Farhan talked about it. You talked about it. Just didn't look that comfortable out there. And I thought he made a great point about when you really feel the cold when you're down, right?
Oh.
Like it's different when you're leading, everything's going great, you're fine, that adrenaline's pumping, maybe the blood's flowing. Has Tua shown you enough, not just this game, but this entire season, for Miami to commit to him long term because his deal is about to come up?
So it's an interesting question, Jay, because on the field, I would say not yet. That doesn't mean he can't, but he has one win against teams above 500 this year.
Yeah.
And do I think he can continuously win games? Yes. But is he the guy you want to commit to that you think can win a Super Bowl? The jury, to me, is still out on that. Again, Farhan said it. I said it before as well. What he doesn't have in his arsenal yet, again, he's still a young guy in this league to me, is to be able to sit back there in the pocket, go through his progressions and say, hey, the run game's gone. I'm not getting much help, but I can make this thing happen with my arm and my brain. I don't think he's developed into that guy yet. I do think it can come. So if you're Miami, you want to see that develop. But also, is Miami and just the whole market right now going to get strong-armed into paying him?
That's the thing, right? Because you got to pay him one way or the other. He's probably not going to want a 1 or 2 year deal.
Exactly. So you almost sit there from a business standpoint and say, hey, we probably can get him now, and maybe it's a little cheaper, than in 2 years,
maybe.
Or it's just
or
such
maybe
a
you regret it.
exactly game of kind of give and take. So I think he is in a very strange and peculiar situation with regards to contract, because also he does have a history of some very serious health questions.
He does, yeah.
So that, it's unfortunate, but it's the nature of the beast. That is going to play into Miami's thought process when going to contract talks.
A lot of questions in Miami in the offseason for sure. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we had another wild card game.